All right, welcome everybody. Piling on in. Come on. Come on. Come on. Handmaid Leia, hey, I have a question for you. You know Father Panayotis, and I saw a comment or something you made about you're the godmother of Father Pan's daughter-in-law. Is that correct? They just got married uh, in Bozeman uh, last weekend, I think. Anyways, I saw the comment. I was like, I did not know that. That's super cool. So many years to them and to your goddaughter. Uh, Good family, a wonderful family. Another good lecture. Another good lecture. Another good lecture. Whoa. Kristen tipped $100. Thank you so much. As always, thank you for your ministry. By the way, uh, as you know, my friend, he was a mentor. He introduced me all the way back 95, 96 to introductory logic and Christian apologetics. And in many ways saved my life. He got me into like apologetics groups. He was in a severe motorcycle accident. He's gonna live. He's okay, but like broken, but like he can't work. And so there is a GoFundMe for him, and I'm taking that money and I'm donating to help him so that he can have some money. So I do appreciate it's going to a good cause. Also, Kate tipped $10. Does the church hold to Nice's view that unbaptized infants are blinded because they have not experienced theosis and don't know the energies? Also, when God saves one extra normally, do those people face the same consequence or do they undergo theosis? Nah, they would not. Yeah, good question. Love your questions, guys. This is fantastic. Theosis is acquired through the virtues, like acquiring virtues. Um, I don't know why you use the word blinded. Um, the church does teach, they have a portion, the unbaptized infants who die um, do have a portion of the kingdom. I don't know what that looks like. A portion of the blessedness. Obviously, they're not damned and they're not tormented. But they don't participate in the fullness because they haven't acquired the virtues that take struggle and um, that are necessary for theosis. So, but to know the energies is to participate in this. So they'll be participating in the energies. To what degree? Obviously, not in the same degree if you don't have the virtues. And then, yeah, the people in a non-normative way, they united mystically to the church and saved through the church somehow. I don't even know what that would look like. Obviously, probably would be very similar, and they're obviously judged on what they know. But you remember, salvation is kind of a mystery. Like beyond what I just said, we don't know what that's like. There's not much we could say. So, Bird tips $5. Thank you so much for your support. Huh, I'll have to try that. I hate that they linked ADD into ADHD. So you know that people like there used to be two separate diagnoses, and I don't even know. Again, I don't think it's a learning disability, at least what I have, and I don't know how many people actually fit into that category. I'm skeptical of it, but for the sake of categorization and discussion, like I'll accept okay the name, but it used to be ADD was separated from ADHD because one had hyperactivity and the other didn't. Now everything's just lumped into ADHD, and not all ADHD have hyperactivity. Is what the yes, you're of course you're allowed to pray for those who are Orthodox in the morning prayers. I do. I pray for my parents, my brother, my friends. Um, the only time you don't, and you wouldn't have to worry about this, is in the on the table of oblation, the prosomedia, um, and within the liturgy, because again, those are prayers for those who are baptized and mystically united into, um, right. But there's still prayers in the liturgy for those out. I mean, we pray for the president. He's obviously not Orthodox. We pray for military, right? So also friends and family members and loved ones uh, can be included in the liturgy, but just not in certain sections where they're specifically prayers about those. And those commemorations will actually be put into the chalice with the lamb that's consecrated and become mystically united. So obviously those who are not. That's but yeah, of course you should pray for those who are not. Dave, we got to get this person, this pagan Neoplatonist. I don't know why it's so hard for them to understand this incommensurability, and they just repeat the same line about. I told them it has nothing to do with comprehension, right? So there's a difference between knowing what something is, the essence, its causes, blah blah blah, to comprehend, and knowing that something is. And this person's just like, it's not comprehend, and it's just like, oh my God, how dense are you? I'd love for them to come on, rather than writing this all out again. I'd love for this person to come on, and I'll just re-explain it for the last time. And there's no incommensurability of autonomy. That's also, these people must be really new to my papers and my work. Like, I think if you read a couple, you wouldn't be asking the sort of questions that. But we'll be taking tag questions, obviously. It's a she, which could explain why you're not getting it. Leave philosophy to the men, unless you're, unless you're authorized, pre-authorized, FDA approved. But you'd have to be somebody like a Saint Catherine, Hypatia, or the Queen of Sweden, that Descartes. How many women philosophers can you actually name that are probably good at philosophy? Very few. Oh, it's just trying to do logic. Yeah. AA, formerly known as TAG. Let's just say it. AA, formerly known as TAG. Thank you. You corrected me. I stand corrected. Yeah, well, there's another ones, Dave, that actually said the philosophers, not just the rhetoricians. So don't use the R word. Chase Cross, $5. Thank you. Good morning, Father. Will you provide insights on the garments of skin and how that relates to the baptismal garments of righteousness? That's a hard question. Let's see if I can look up something. I feel like that's a Father Stephen DeYoung question. Like, I feel like Father Stephen DeYoung would be really good. Um, Off the top of my head, they're almost like inverse. Garments of skin represent what? Mortality and corruption. Um, and this isn't not. It's not like we're Gnostic or light orbs, and then it's like we got bodies. That's not what it means. Coats of skins, garment of skins represents mortality and corruption. Okay, so what is the baptismal robe? Right? Garments of incorruptibility and immortality. So that's how they, just generally speaking, how they relate. They're inverse of. Hey, where's Father Ron? Who are you asking? Who's Orthodox? Are you Orthodox? Who? Address? Name them. What are you talking to the chat? Is Father Ron in here? Father Ron. Oh. All right, what else do we have? Let me see if I missed any other super chats. By the way, I was thinking about the other R word, racism. You know what? I think, and I want to encourage people, don't ever use words created by the enemy of the church. We do speak about the Christian race, or I'm trying to remember beyond that, but that just kind of means people. I would never use that word. That's I know the person that. One second. Don't use the word anti-Semitism, tongue tie, Judeo-Christian, intersectionality, what was another word that I think we really should encourage a bit. First of all, because they're weaponized words, and they're weaponized and made popular or even created uh, by enemies. But there was another word I was thinking about. Well, it goes further than isms. It's like there's certain words that are created by groups of people that hate Christians. It's like, why would you use their language? Some people are like, so I think it's a more nuanced thing than saying like racism doesn't exist. Obviously, racism is not condemned in the Bible. Uh, that'll cause people's heads to blow up. I think it's better and more effective to say, I'm not using words created by groups of people and individuals who hate the church and they're anti Christian words. You do whatever you want. I'm not engaging in it. Gosh dang, I was thinking there was another word too. The conspiracy theory was created by the Warren Commission. What was the Jewish guy? That I have it saved too, and I can't find it now. That started popularizing. I can't. The word racism. Racism. Come on, guys, help me out. Conrad Hayden. Oh no, that was somebody else. I was thinking. Maybe I'm getting confused. Anyways, done talking about that. What is this guy Daniel? Daniel, what are you? You don't even know what you're talking about. How do you know? Jesus never performed exorcism. Are you mentally retarded? Like, have you read the Gospels? There's several. Christians have almost made up theology. They think they're called the church and called a Christian, but they will enlighten us. Pack it up, boys. Daniel has overthrown all the philosophers in 2,000 years. So why don't you enlighten us, Daniel? By the way, anything I don't like is just made up, isn't it? The anything I don't like, I just get in the chat and say it's made up and not true. You know, any retard can say that. Obviously, you don't know Greek, too. Gospel, what the frick are you talking about? Daniel, I am demanding payment now because you're so retarded on my channel. You are being fined. You have to send in a $10 super chat for being the dumbest person in the chat of the week. If you do not send in $10 right now, you will be banned. Ready? You've got a countdown. In 1 minute, if I don't get a $10 for penalty fee for retard slop on my... Daniel, are you listening to me? Daniel is fluent in Greek. Yeah, I'm sending you off to a camp. Why would I engage with a retard? $10 might convince me, though, so go ahead. Absolutely silent my critic. Put you in a work camp, dude. How do you like that? You can cry some more, and then you can tell your padded walls how mean I am, how I silence my critics. You've got 30 seconds. Greek learning camp, yeah. Remember the Nocturnal Council, dude? We are bringing it back. Gospel camp. Yeah, get going to gospel camp just for saying that. Let a demon tell me I'm lying. Come on. 19, 18, 17. Where's my money? Pay piggy. Where's my money? Aw, Daniel. Oh. Cries out as he strikes you. Daniel, come on. You're silencing the critics. You won't engage in my retardedness. And mods, you may proceed. To boot the bot. Thank you for playing, Daniel. Before we boot Daniel, we've got... Social distancing was a joke. We know that. We've got one thing for you, Daniel. Are you ready? Get ready.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Goodbye, Daniel. Goodbye. Goodbye, Felicia. Goodbye. Thank you for playing. Oh, I had to get the AI. Bye, Daniel. Did we boot him? Yeah. Do some some retard that is just strung together a bunch of incoherent. Then cried as he struck out. Oh, you silence, you crazy. Absolutely. Dad should be in hell at 2:30, 3:30. Okay, Mom. I'm bringing my mom on to debate. We're gonna have mom debates. I would get a lot of views. Like, you ever see me debate my parents? Hmm? Oh, yeah, good. I was just thinking about that. I'm gonna make a note about enable memberships. Memberships. Enable, thank you. YouTube. Memberships. Thank you so much for that. I don't want that guy back. I didn't. I mean, it doesn't even take much mental horsepower to look up gospels and grit like um uh evag I can't talk today. Evangelion evangel means good news. Like, I mean, what's the hang up on Evangelion? Evangelion. Got it. So I'm not gonna. If somebody's that retarded, and then he just copied and pasted some Greek. That's why I was like, why is this guy so like that? Nobody else has figured. No Greek scholars or any scholars, right? I'm like, so no, I don't want a stupid idiot like that back onto my Evangelion. Yeah, yeah, good. Nikos. We have a Greek, and exactly like angelos, right? Messenger, right? So you means good. Yes, thank you. Yeah. In Romanian. Trying to remember the. Am I blanking on? Evangelion is gospel in Romanian. Someone's the exact word. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Let's do it in Romanian. Where do these people come from? That's what I'd like to know. Remember the Hate Watchers? Oh, here's a place I want to go. I love that. Though I'm gonna really lean into silencing my critics. Cause they won't do what I say. Reddit. Well, I've never on Reddit, so I will. But yeah. Father Nick. Welcome. I don't have to do what you. Demons demand that. That's what demons like. Turn these rocks into bread. Jump off a cliff. No. Oh, you won't do what I say. Oh, you won't do what I say. Like that's literally. So there's silence. Absolutely. I'm totally leaning into silencing my critics day by day. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? That's my. Too bad for you. You going to lock me up? Call the cops? That's the great thing. There's nothing you can do about it. Do whatever I want. Put you in a padded room. Call up the Nocturnal Council. Have you banished. But I don't have to respond to demons. Our Lord doesn't. I'm following my Lord. I'm not responding to demons because they demand that I do tricks for them. Do it. Jump up and down. Turn the rocks into bread. Man, what's in this Nicaragua? I feel spicy. All right, moving on. Okay, questions, comments, super chats. Oh no, what did I just do? Yeah, I wish Father Ron was in here. Miss you, Father. Father Boyan tonight. That's cool. He was on with Cleve and Father Ron and I. I really enjoyed. Check this out. You want to go Greek? Go Greek or go home? Bum, bum, bum. This is the Hanson Quinn. The size of this thing, dude. You like lift weights with and learn Greek at the same time with this book. Oh yeah, I like that. I was staring at the chat so intense that it looks like I froze. How many pages? That's a good question. $848. But that's a go-to book right there. Moving on up to the east side. That got me excited. Yeah, Dyna. It's better to have. If you just get that book, you're not going to learn it. It's better to have a dynamic. One second. All right, I need to send this off real quick. Give me 1 second. You just think about what you've done. Think about the questions, formulate, and I have to send a student email real quick. Corrections or additions. So the issue is I have students. And I'll send her feedback on her paper. Uh, I'm teaching 2 sections over the summer, a 16-week course condensed into 8 weeks, which is really intense. And so they're writing papers, and they had rough drafts. Now, normally what I would do for a 16-week course is I'd assign students editing partners. So I don't grade I don't provide feedback on their rough drafts. I have too many students, first of all. Even for a 16-week, it's just like, I can't do it teaching the amount of courses that I do work. So what I do, and it helps them even better, is that I assign them editing part. I'm like, you edit your editing partners and vice versa. And then primarily too, a rough draft is a due date, so it's like you're not waiting to the last minute. I'm getting you to kind of go through hoops, and but I can provide feedback for. So feedback on 1 second. Shortly. So think about that. That's already for a normal 16-week course, and then I have it condensed into an 8-week course. And I'm having students who are like, "Am I getting feedback on my papers?" I'm like, "I don't know. You gonna send in a super chat? Maybe I." As I try to be nice to students. I'm like, 6 weeks. I literally just don't have enough time to go through all the students. I have 2 sections to do that. It's to get you to get something in, and then you try to work in the next 2 weeks. So I usually put a rough draft due 2 weeks before a final draft paper is due. And it's like, work on, like, I don't, like, at least you have something in, you're working on it, so you're not waiting to the last minute. But every student wants, like, they want you to do the work for, like, it's just like, I don't get paid enough to do that. Number two, I don't have time. I'm a part-time instructor. I'm not making lots of money off these courses that they're teaching me at the universities. All right, let's see. We've got Topaz. Anyways, that's why I was writing this student email. Thank you for your work, Father. Something clicked for me, and everything is making so much more sense. Oh, awesome. That's actually great. I was wondering if it's okay to look for triadic structure in created things or to use it for understanding concepts. Yeah, I mean, if I was talking about the whole world is triadic. I teach at 3 different places. All adjunct. I'm not full time because I'm also got to do my clerical work. I serve at 2 parishes. I teach in person here in Helena at Carroll College. I teach logic, introduction to philosophy this semester, a new course, philosophy and film, ethics, philosophy of science, epistemology. I have taught a course, political philosophy before, and I feel like I'm missing another logic and critical thinking. Then I teach at a university in Maine, but obviously I don't fly out in person to the university. So I teach for them online, and I teach ethics course, and then also was hired as an adjunct part-time professor at Jordanville, Holy Trinity Jordanville, to teach classes too. Uh, Byzantine philosophy was a class I taught last semester, and then Principles of Orthodoxy, which is like going through the creed and reading the fathers and different works in light of that. So that's what I teach. You and Jay Dyer have helped me so much to return this. Thank you. Here, I got a picture for you. I saw this was going around. This is just for you, brother. I saw that last night. Isn't that hilarious? No, it's open forum. Obviously, super chats get priority. I have no idea about red hair. That's a great. Why did he? Going through the chat. All right. What's something else I want to do before I go to Dave? Where is this girl in? I don't have to keep explaining this, and I actually don't like writing out arguments in text with people on social media. I don't mind writing like papers, but I've noticed autists like that. It's like I'd rather. That's why we like to be like, let's just hammer this out. Let's just do a voice, do something on VC, or like, just come on and ask the question that's extreme, and I'll explain it. So, why do you think some people like they just want to hash all this stuff out over text response? Like you see these people on Twitter. Like I hate engaging in. Now, one of the downsides of that is what I've noticed is these people, a lot of people don't know what they're talking about. So they're going to other people or they're going to chat GPT and they want the time to kind of respond to but I always believe that that's kind of writing things out and back and forth in text response is kind of less natural than having a natural conversation like this. So that's why I prefer. So, but you've all noticed some of these people, right? That like they just love to. They won't come on. They won't. They want to do everything in back and forth in text threads. I don't get it. What are your thoughts? Gives them time to process and formulate their thoughts, yeah. But I don't. I already have these. Okay, so Dave, should we pull it up and I'll answer it for the last time? Tell her, is she there? She can come into. Yeah, I like the voice because the people can't weasel them way out. That's correct. That's the right answer. Um, I'll play a couple clips while we wait for her. I don't know what the father's teaching on where Enoch. Oh, I'm dreading. I respond to all these students. Why come I got the grade? Actually, I do know. So they were taken up bodily without dying. Um, says here St. Irenaeus of Lyons against heresies, book 5, chapter 5. Enoch was translated in the same body in which he pleased God, and Elijah was caught up in his natural form. The elders, the disciples, the apostles taught that those translated were transferred to paradise, the same place where the first man or Adam was placed, which has been prepared for the righteous who have the Spirit. They remain until the consummation of all things as a prelude to immortality. Don't they die too? This is interesting here. I think St. Ambrose. Oh, this one's really, you'll like this one. St. John Chrysostom says that Elijah went up as if into heaven, or into the aerial atmospheric heaven. This is from the true heaven reserved for Christ. St. Ambrose had a similar thought, says here. Was taken up but not into heaven in its full glory, since the gates of heaven were not opened until Christ's passion and resurrection. St. Jerome talks about kind of a secret region. And then St. Gregory, the Dialogus, says that there was aerial heaven, it says here, which is not an incorporeal one, and appointed to a secret region of the earth, obviously past the ice wall. There you go. Middle Earth or past ice wall. But isn't that kind of interesting? So, and remember, there's an angel around. Is there a secret? Is the garden still here? An angel of the Lord was placed with a fiery sword before. Seems to me like they may be there. I think it's, boys, it's time to do an exploration. We're raising funds to find where. Oh, it started to echo, sorry. We are back with no echo. Sorry, when I was reading this stuff. Oh, it fixed itself, anyways. Oh, and Father Stephen DeYoung talked about near the beginning of the religion of the apostles. Father deacon is the proper term, unless, I mean, there's certain jurisdictions that don't have that. So it's kind of more formal. Like, for example, I was ordained in the Romanian. My archbishop calls me father. Like, that's more of a formal kind of, like, more informal. Hey, deacon. Deacon. Now, in the Serbs, they never call deacons fathers. The longest, most formal way to write it would be the Reverend Father Deacon. That would be, so it's just, again, some traditions don't have it, like the Serbs, Romanian, Slavic do, I believe Greek do. Yeah, when people get all pissy about, I'm like, take it up with my bishop. The church is with the bishop. But he calls me father. He doesn't even, like I said, he doesn't even call me Father Deacon. He calls me father. Now, Bishop Maxim, Archbishop Maxim, who I'm on loan to, he's Serbian, so he calls me deacon. So none of it's offensive to me. I don't care. And I like FDA. I think that's a term of endearment. So as long as you don't just call him, like, if I didn't grow up with you, you don't get to call me by my first name. Unless you're not, you're, let's say you're a more recent friend and you're not Orthodox. Of course, I'm not going to be like, you have to call me father or you have to call me deacon. I would never do that. However, my students, so what do I do with my students? Because they're, teach at Carroll. Because I like the formalism. I don't like anti-hierarchical and informal kind of, you address people by in their work. Like if you went to a judge, your honor, right? The honorable. If in class, like students, I say, look, you can call me father. I don't care. You don't need to. But you at least need to call me doctor. Dr. Swarm. Because I'm a professor and I'm a doctor and that's my title for. There's a whole host of people that won't. They're the PSA tards. They won't call clergy by their proper title. They're like Josiah, Ananias, right? I'm like, you may be baptized Orthodox, but like there's no way anybody. I don't care what kind of problems you have with a priest, you ever do that. That's one of the most disrespectful, and you should be excommunicated, I think, if you repeatedly and obstinately, and they don't respect clergy at all. They want to say, wow. Anyways, I hope that explains. Yeah, I just block them on me. Yeah, those guys are the worst. It's attack on the. Yeah, I mean, I don't take myself as too seriously, but I take the office that I and the job I do seriously. So I'm like, if you insult that, like, I mean, you're not insulting me, you're insulting the church and the office. And um, I'm very defensive of the things that I love. If you insult my wife, if you insult my priest, you insult my parishioners, you insult the church. Like, I was talking with a friend I went to undergrad with. He was my roommate. I'm like, there's actually, like, I don't get offended. There's only a handful of things. I get annoyed. I could get upset about stuff. I was saying the coup, I'm still upset about that. What people did. Um, but in a society that's so easily offended, like everything's an offense. Like I'm like, to me, it's just another stupid philosophy or a stupid person saying something stupid, and I'm like, it's dumb. Like, and at worst, it might be irritating, but it doesn't offend me. I'm not like, I'm offended. The only things that offend me are that insult my wife, my priest, my church, or my parishioners. No, I'm not Romanian, but I was ordained in the Romanian Orthodox Church. Because I'm protective of I love those things, all that I listed. I'm like, that I will be offended. So you're not insulting me, you're insulting the church and the priests, all the priests and the office and the whole structure of that actually does make me mad and offends me. We mean mystically his body, and mystically doesn't mean metaphorically. He's invisibly present. The particles that are commemorated on the post media, right, go into the chalice with the lamb that actually literally but invisibly becomes the literal flesh and blood of the resurrected, and you're grafted into that. You're actually the same way it says a scripture. When did we read that scripture? It was on Sunday that a man should leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife, and the two should become one in flesh. And St. Paul says, I'm speaking mystically. There's a type of ontological union. So it's not metaphorical. I'd say it's even stronger with us and Christ. I wanted to read. No, I didn't see the question. Sorry. Hello. Oh wait, I think I just saw it. I just want. What's the question? Probably sin again. And it depends on the degree of sins. I mean, sin means missing the mark, so you're probably missing the mark in some way. Like, have you missed the mark in a soul destruction way that you would go to confession? Maybe that's what you're saying you haven't done. But who cares what your friends make fun of them? Tell them they're retarded and you don't respect them, and anything they have to say. I don't know, shame them. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do to your friend. My friend says something stupid, I would make fun of him. Seize the opportunity. For what? Dating a girl, like, or what? I'm not going to, and I'd be like, I'm not going to secular retarded friends to tell me what's dumb and what I should do. Just mock them. I don't know. They need to be put in their place. If it don't, say, I'm sending you to the camps. We can end this conversation real quick. Right, where was I? Put it this way, I don't take what did we notice when this guy came in? I don't what was that guy's name again? I've already forgot that we blocked David. I don't take unserious people and unserious comments seriously. Good thing to live by. And you can cry about it and say I'm silencing my critics or I won't respond to that. I don't care. I'm not insecure. You can't manipulate me. I know my arguments. I have to like every person that challenges me with some stupid statement. I'm not worried about it. It's exactly like Father Russell said. Somebody came up to him and said, prove that you love your wife. And he says, no. Why? Because he knows it. A confident man doesn't have to prove anything to you. That's the same way. It's like, you're going to come on here, David, and be unserious and not present any coherent kind of argument or anything serious. Of course I'm going to make fun of you. Oh, you're scared. I'm not scared. A scared person doesn't. Just like telling Father Russell, you're scared that you're not proof. It's like. So, I don't care. And I take the same. Like, if your friends are saying unserious things, don't take them seriously. Make fun of it. Yeah, Daniel was mega enlightened. Like, his rhetorical skill, he won us all over by the beauty of his rhetoric. So much so he got booted. Congratulations, Daniel. Or David. David Daniel. Was it Daniel? I can't remember. It's one of those D words. The juice guy. What was the juice guy? Was he into juice or something? What was I looking for again? Maybe I should get my glasses on so I can see what I'm looking for. Prayer. I see you in the comments section of that Romanian lady's channel that reads. Oh, something else going on here. Are we going to get this person to come in? All right. I'm going to do a couple videos real quick. As we wait for this person from Discord to come in, then we'll cover it. Remember, top hat, 120, 20 bucks. Thank you. Thank you for the work, Father. Something. Oh, you already read that. Yeah. You're really eager in getting a question answered, you probably should send a super chat. Otherwise, I'll probably miss it. And you just might get lucky if I get it. All right, let's move to... So I was thinking about something. I was thinking about Montanika. The evolution of... Should we start forward and move backwards some of the, like, promo videos or recap videos? I was looking for something and I found some stuff and it was just making me a little bit sentimental, I'm not gonna lie. Great themes, we'll talk about that in a second because that's I'm going to be dealing with that, with this question from this person in Discord. But first, which way do you want to go? Starting now, 2026 Montanika, and back to the first? This is the 6th year. Or the first and go. It's up to you. Let's go to YouTube Studio. So let me just give you a brief history that will kind of explain, because there's people in the video that originally when we planned, there were people that dropped out that couldn't be speakers for the first Montanika. Yeah, let's go first and then go. Yeah, we're allowed calamari, prawns. Unless there's a tradition that doesn't, but I thought for the... Can't believe it's 6 years ago. Okay. It was 2021, I believe. But I'd been thinking about 2020. Nobody... There was no collab. There was no... a hub in which Orthodox content provide. And think about the world in 2020, 2021. Online Orthodox is very different than it is today. Eric, $5. Good point. Not being offended. I struggle with getting angry, especially when arguing with Protestant friends. Yeah, they just don't accept history. So, anyways, I'd been working with Jay online, and then we had David, we had different people, and I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool if we had like kind of a network where there was a centralized like hub. There's a name I'm missing right now that I'm thinking, and I wanted Patristic Faith just to kind of be that. I was like, cool, we'll just share each other's stuff. people that, let's say, people that David Erhan's channel didn't know about somebody else's channel, and vice versa, um, like that. And so I started talking with some of the people that was like, at the time, a lot of these people, like one of them was Roosh. He totally went off. God bless him, man. Like, I'm really. Uh, Michael Sisko was another. He kind of stepped down from. Uh, and brother, Michael Whitcock. Like, so, it's changed a lot. It was really nascent. Um, the online Orthodox world was really young at that time. But I invited all of them, like, why don't you come up here? Like, let's hang out. Like, I just wanted my friends to, I was so happy about Montana, living in Montana, that I wanted people to see that. And then that evolved into an argument about, oh, we're going to do a conference, and then we could sell our books. And I was just like, because I knew, I'm like, that's a lot of work. I didn't want to do that. But eventually I caved in. And I decided, okay, and that's when we came up with Montanica. And there were some questions and controversy about that, because some people accused me of stealing the name. There was, and then some of my haters actually contacted a local guy. There's a local apparel company, turns out, in Montana. And his company is called, let's see if I go into the Face Lord book. I didn't know this at the time, but I'll tell you why it became a controversy. There's some group, apparel company, called Montanica here, and it's got an exclamation point. Okay? Don't support these people. GOP authored and promote GOP only. Oh no. This guy's probably a faggot. Yeah, there you go. How do I know? Literally, flag, love wins, i.e., stick the pee-pee in the poo-poo, have a poop fetish, mutilate your children, and chemically castrate. Black Lives Matter. Oh my gosh, dude. Put this guy in a camp for sure. And he's a papist? Is that in Rome? That's hilarious. Okay. Anyways, that was a company. So I didn't rip them off, like the name. What happened is I found like randomly a Metallica website where you could put your name in or put names in, and it was free. It's actually there's no copyright issues or anything like that. You can look it up, and it'll make the like the logo with like the lightning bolt. And that's when I came up with it. I was like, oh, Montana, and I didn't know there was a company, Montanica, with an exclamation. Okay. So my haters contacted, they're like, there's a priest doing, stealing your company. This guy wrote me, and he's like, I'm gonna sue you. I own that. I copyright, trademark. And so I was like, oh shoot. So I actually contacted a lawyer and looked it up, and I'm like, they can't see. That's not my logo. Mine was Orthodox Montanica, right? That whole phrase in a different logo. And I'm like, you don't own that. That's like saying, I use those letters, or I use that word in a sentence, and I copyrighted that word or trademarked. So I'm like, this guy doesn't even know the law. And Americans are so litigious, right? Even if I did, so I can't do the exact logo. That is a trademark. There's nothing in law that says you can't use that word. Furthermore, I wrote this guy back and I was like, look, I'm not trying to steal your, I didn't know that was your company. And I said, we're a nonprofit. I'm not making any money off this. We're not selling anything. But then I found out later, even if I were, did you know that you can use the word Nike and sell coffee? Nike coffee. You can't get sued by Nike. Only if you have the exact same logo, right? The way it looks, not just the word. And you're selling the exact same product. Okay, so what did I do? I'm like, and he was like, you won't win. And I'm like, he was really aggressive and upset. And I was like, hey, look, didn't know, we totally support local businesses in Montana. You can have it. But I knew he'd lose in court. I'm like, what's easier, to fight this guy in court and he's going to lose, and then I have to countersue him or I'm like, I'll just give it to you. And so that's when we changed it and we added Nika, the Greek word, to, and that was Father Russell's helped me with that. Conquer, champion, and I'm like, that's better anyways. All right, so just so you know, I didn't steal it, wasn't. But the first video you'll see the logo. Okay. This drives me crazy that people think like they could. Oh, and he's like, you have to take everything down. Oh, you know what I did? I said, we support local businesses. We'd love for you to come to the conference and you can sell your stuff. I was so nice to this guy. And I said, well, you can have the name. Such a better way of like approaching public relations. Didn't hear anything. Never responded like, hey, thanks. And then he like wrote me like a year later. People had the word, like on their YouTube video, and he thought they were mine. He's like, I told you I'll sue you and you won't. And I'm like, I just ignored him. I'm like, I don't know what this guy's deal is, but all right. With that being said, I don't remember how big the first one was. 40, 50, maybe people total. We had it in Helena, because it's where I live. I teach at Carroll College. We hosted at Carroll College. It was only later that we moved it to Butte as it became bigger. But here's the very first. Notice some of the people, when we did this promo video, there are a bunch of speakers that originally kind of signed up that wanted to be part of Patristic Faith and come out and speak that later couldn't make it. So it's really funny. But I like the video. It's a 5-minute video, so let's watch. I made it. I made this. There's Carroll College where I work. That's the Roman Catholic Cathedral. It's actually a beautiful Gothic cathedral in Helena. Gate of the Mountains. We went on that tour. There's Carroll again. There's Mount Helena to the left. This is my town, guys. There's all my elk that I own. Now this is Butte. That's Holy Trinity. I love my college. It's beautiful. Oh, there's another proof text right there. This was 2020. This and orthopros. So remember, we showed a video last when I was the creator of the word. We finally found the proof of that because there were some competing claims of who actually created it. I did, and I forgot I threw this in on that 2020, 2021. I remember when we released this, but another proof text before all y'all even started using it. The deacon was, and before the enemy got a hold of it and appropriated our good term of endearment, brothers who are Orthodox, and like demons parasitically sucked the life out of it and turned it into a bad word. An orthobros event. Okay, so Roosh, remember he used to work, like, he stepped down. Remember Luke Kendrick? He wasn't able to make it. Michael Sisko wasn't able to make it. But this was all originally the kind of idea of Patristic Faith. There's forgot about that picture in Russia. Look how young David Patrick looks. He's been with us from the beginning. Remember Michael Whitcoff? Here's Mount Helena. And we hiked up there. Not all the way to the top, I don't think people were. There's the top of Mount Helena. Looking over the valley. It's not a mosque, it's a civic center, okay? And everybody's like, you have a mosque? It's like, no. They just made it look like a more, like, I think the Shriners built it or something like that. I was terrified when I first came up here. I was like, I just told there was no Muslims here. There's a mosque. No mosque here. My only criticism of this is the video's too long. I think what I was trying to do is get it to get enough clips and stuff that it fit the song or something like that, but it's too long. Still kind of based, don't you think? Fire tower. All right. That was the very first one. Okay. Questions. Then we're going to move down the history. See what's going on in the chat. Montana's Orthodox. Yes. The answer is this Orthodox. Yes. I don't know what that means. You mean, what does it mean is Montana Orthodox? The official state religion I have declared is Orthodox. All right, next. I don't think I have video for each year. This was... So if that first one's 2021, this one's 2023. And notice so now we've moved it to Butte in 2022. This is 2023. And the temple, we had water damage to the roof. That occurred before I actually arrived here in 2020. And anyways, it destroyed a lot of the iconography. So this is, you'll see before the iconography started getting repaired. So you can see spots where it's the plaster and stuff like that. Again, he's been the most consistent speaker. See how short this one is? That one's pretty short. Okay, that was 2023. Oh, that's a cool picture. Forgot about that. That was 4 years ago. That's when I got St. Olaf, my icon, 4 years ago. Okay, let's move to another, shall we? This video was done by Emily Carson. This is on her Instagram. She's... Hold on. What I'm doing with my life. Alright, you guys ready? So this one will be... Is it 2024 or 25? So we did 2021, 2023. So this one's either 2024 or 2025. No super chats. Oh, we do. Forgive me. Swag East 499 YouTube channel called Let's Disagree to Disagree. I guess L's doing video on J. Tags. Do with that what you will. Disagree to disagree. Kind of interested. Be kind of fun to disagree to disagree. Wow, dude. 24 subscribe. Oh my God. Is this... This can't be... This can't be them. Put it in the... Because none of these are... I'm not seeing it. The one that I pulled up, disagree to disagree, is definitely doesn't look like... Alright. If you're not going to give it, then we're going to Emily's. How do I go up? I don't know what's going on. My thing won't. Okay. Go here. So thank you, Emily Carson. She attended here twice, maybe, but she put this. That's me playing with the professional bluegrass band. That's Shane doing the iconography. So it's still being repaired. It's before he finished. You can see all the plaster. Again, all very short ones. I think we have one last one. Again, we're waiting for this person in Discord and they'll address it, and then I'm going away. Going away, boys. Yeah, Orthodoxy is exploding huge in Montana. I gotta go grade papers and answer emails. That's where I'm going crazy. That's where I'm going. We only have 1 million people here in a state of almost the size of California. So, the proportionally, like, I'd almost say that Orthodoxy is growing proportionally larger than any others. Like, so, given how few population, how big it is, yeah, we're busting out of the seams. Like, we're having established mission parishes everywhere. Second temples are being built. So when people brag about being in the city, be like, we had 100, 300 catechumen. It's like, you're living a huge area of 15 million people. We only have 1 million people in the whole state. My town's 30,000 people. And we're getting 70 to 80. To 100, 120, like, depends on what city. So it's like, which one's actually growing faster proportionally? We have a monastery. We have one of the oldest churches. My parish, Holy Trinity, where I serve in Butte, 127 years old, founded by Saint Sebastian of Jackson, consecrated by Saint Tikhon the Enlightener. I don't know how much land is. I mean, it's going up. I mean, it's getting more, but that's everywhere. All right, let's see. I want to look up who this guy is. Oh, 1.26. He's an atheist? Extremely convenient skeptics, J. Dyer, and transcendental arguments. Rent free, dude. Yeah. Looks like a loser. Oh yeah, really cheap rent. Unfortunately, real estate has proportionally gone up probably higher than any other state. Now, as far as raw number, like how much a house, like it's not the most, obviously nowhere near the most expensive, but um, the places the most expensive, Bozeman, then probably Missoula, then probably Kalispell, then Helena. Helena and Kalispell might be tied. Butte, cheap. Anaconda, cheap. Great Falls, cheap. Eastern Montana, even cheaper. Billings, cheap. Like those, you won't have any problem. Like they're really. Yeah, I found it. Colby Reddish. It looks dumb, but thank you. Yeah, I mean Montana's still one of the most based, despite there's nowhere you can go where there's no liberals. Sorry. They try to infiltrate and turn those. Uh, but nevertheless, we're still very conservative for the most part, especially if you get out of the cities. But it's libertarian. It's the only downside. All right, next. Joe Schmidt just converted to Catholicism, not Orthodoxy. Let's see if any Orthodox get in there and say anything. I just don't understand how anybody could consider. Dude, look at this guy's. This is huge. Long argument. No Orthodox in here. Alright, now what was I looking for? Something on my page. The recap of 2020. So now we're at 2026. The evolution of Montanica. It's amazing. I'm actually really proud of it. Glory to God. Glory to God. How far it's come, and it's humbling. So thank all of you who supported that and me, and trying to make it as best as possible. Yeah, I like how Nika is written too on the. Okay, let's look and see. No. All right, we're finally going to. Do we have any super chat? We got one that came in from Swaggies. Thank you. All right, moving on. What's going to be next year? That's a crazy thought. I mean, I know what the theme is. I'm saying growth and what Lord God will bring. Okay. One last thing before we go. We'll answer these questions here. This was a person can't seem to understand the criticism mounted against Neoplatonism and tag, and so I'm going to explain it to you. Okay? Is that all right? And this person, we've been waiting. Let's go back here. Let's go back here. Let's go back here. I already know what Neoplatonism is. Like, I've studied Neoplatonism, so I don't need a lecture on. But the person is a pagan. We all know this. We don't need you to state the one surpasses all understanding, i.e., its essence and what it is, versus knowing that it is. So trying to the argument, remember, that I came up with, and they just keep repeating the same stupid thing. It's like, no, that's, where is it? So do you all know what contraries are? Right? Finite, infinite means not finite. Right? Mortal means not more, like they're contra, they're opposites. So even if things are not contraries, opposites, but they're different, you still relate them. For example, if I were to write out my dad a truck and a rock walk into a bar. So those are three terms, and none of them are contraries, but they're different. So in order, my dad's like a truck, right? how would I say that? I would say, my dad is to a rock as a rock is to a truck. Right? Or maybe I just do dad and rock. How can I relate my dad and a rock? They're two different things, but they're not opposites. They're not contraries. My dad is to strength, something strong, as strength is to rock. So what are the two different things rock and my dad have in common? Let's say they're strong, they're immovable forces, and if you throw them at somebody's head, it will hurt them. I don't like. This is called a mean proportion. Okay? So A and B, A is not B. Okay? But they're not opposites. They're not contraries. Okay? But even to say, in order to relate them, in any sort of relation, this person's getting all caught up, and I feel like these people you don't want to get it. That's what the problem is. It's not that you can't get it, you don't want to get it. A is not B. So how do I relate those, right? By a mean proportion. And the mean proportion goes like this. A is to B as B is to C. B is the mean proportion. Okay. Now, if that's true with just things that are different and not contraries, now think about opposites, contraries. Infinite and finite. They're literally they're dialectical opposites. Eternal. And created. Opposites. So the question is, how do I relate those things? I don't mean causally. I can mean causally in terms of knowledge, because knowledge is a relation. What's a knowledge between you, the quote-unquote knower, and the thing known? Or even in speech, I'm making a relation. So any relation, if you relate them, they have to be right. Even with things that are different, there has to be a mean proportion. Even more a fortiori with things that are opposites. And if they can't, there's no relation. You can't just pause. This person cannot seem to get this, okay? They just say what? No proportion means no comprehension. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I've had to repeat this 1,000 times to you. Not knowledge. Knowledge is a relation. Get it through your head. We all will accept the premise that there's no comprehension. No proportion means no comprehension. First of all, I don't even... It's missing the point fallacy. Honestly, in predication, you can't relate two things even grammatically, nor does the word have a referent. Also, Neoplaton falls victim to the critiques of autonomous epistemology. You're making a bunch of knowledge claims about purport. Look at this person. How do they know that? No, just grant me all the stupid stuff that I'm saying so I can say my position. And no, it doesn't mean anything about comprehension, because originally this critique comes from Aquinas, although he doesn't accept it. He thinks he has a solution, which we'll see he doesn't. And Aquinas knows, or accepts, believes, there's no comprehension of the one, or God. So quit bringing it up. It's a sophistical tactic. We know that. So then only if theory of predication. This is not premised on any particular theory of predication. It's a universal principle. I just showed it. Did I cite any theory of predication? Opposites can't be related in any type of relation, grammatically or anything, whether it's knowledge relations, causal relations. If they're opposites, they exclude each other. That's the meaning of the words. Quit obfuscating and being obstinate and stubborn about this. They don't get the argument. They don't want to get it. That's what. Yeah, just admit it. I don't know the argument. Why don't you teach me that? Then state the universe. Why does I call it the argument from incommensurability. Lead to the impossibility of knowledge as opposed to. I mean, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here. Look, this is Aquinas's objection 3, question 2, article 2. Furthermore, if the so he's creating, he doesn't believe in these, but he creates what he finds to be the best objection. This is a great objection. It actually works, and he can't, even though he thinks he says he solves it, it doesn't. If the existence of God were demonstrated, or put the one in there, this could only be from the effects. But the one's effects or God's effects are not proportionate to him. He is infinite, uncreated, eternal, right? The effects, we, the subjects, are finite. Hello? Between the finite and infinite, there is no proportion. They're literally opposites. Therefore, since a cause cannot be demonstrated, i.e. known, by an effect not proportionate to it, or any relation, you cannot relate, whether mathematically, logically, grammatically, linguistically, epistemically, then you can't relate it. Why is that so hard? Unrelated things can't be related. How about that? A 3-year-old can get that, but this person can't. So I explain. If two contraries or opposites are to be related in speech, knowledge, this is exactly what I said. I'm not going to repeat. There's none in Neoplaton. Okay, you have to have a way to relate them. Unrelatable things, by definition, are unrelatable. So what's the relation? It's nothing to be found in Neoplaton's Thomism Unitarianism. Therefore, not only can someone not know the one exists, why? Because knowledge is a relation to what? I know the one exists, or I can talk about the one. Well, not if it's, we just admitted that you can't, because there's no relation between unrelatable things. And we granted that even if you could, we understand that has nothing to do with comprehension. We'll give that to you. So quit bringing it up. Quit being dense. The word one. So if I don't have, if I can't relate to the unrelatable in any way, which is what we just proved, the word one doesn't have a referent. It's not, I just showed. Did I explain any particular, no, it's just literally it's that simple. Unrelatable things are unrelatable until you can find a relation. I don't have a relation. Then congratulations. Your words don't refer to anything. We don't know anything about you. There's impossible. Why is that such a hard argument to get? Yes, it's universally because it's just the meaning of the word. Therefore, if you deny this is true, which the person, so just, you don't have any justification to deny it. I just say it's the what I call the fallacy of ad hoc binacification. Well, I just deny it or minus out any argument. What is this person doing? I just minus out any argument that would contradict or refute my Neoplatonism. But I don't have any justification for doing that. Why? I'm just trying to save my position. Call from the argument from incompatibility. So even if we didn't go into that, how do we know Neoplatonism's true? You're telling me, cool story, bro. I know what Neoplatonism is. I've studied it under far greater scholars than you have. Don't have to explain to me what it is. Take it for granted, I know it. You just told me a story. I want to know it's true, and how do you justify that? No, wait a minute. You're saying you know what this theory is, or you know this to be true. Why would I grant you knowledge? You haven't shown that knowledge, you can justify knowledge. So I'm supposed to just grant you all these epistemic claims. I'm going to give it to you so you can beat me in the debate. And your stupid pagan thing could be true and I'm wrong. Why would I do that? Do I look like an idiot to you? But if Neoplatonism's story is true, then that's how we have knowledge. So you're epistemically bootstrapping yourself into a position now saying, so that you can know Neoplatonism's true? I mean, there's all kinds of theories. Which ones are, how do you know? Well, if Neoplatonism's the metaphysical account's true, that's how we know. And so you're begging the question. Furthermore, how can you make a second order claim that I know this to be true, or I know this, before you justify that knowledge even exists? But if Neoplatonism is true, that's how it exists. That's what it'll always go to. All right, moving on. Let's go to a different critique. Even if you could get around that, and you can't. That's the easiest argument I've ever seen. I just can't. I can't get it. But I'm going to pause there and see what you guys are saying. Do you guys have a hard time understanding unrelatable things are unrelatable? Incommensurability means like incapable of being related. But why can't you relate things? Why can't? Because knowledge is a relation. Not hard, is it? Oh, it is kind of no. Will you explain to me? Like, I have explained to you. Obviously, you don't get like. It's like the burden of proof thing too. Game. So prove to me. Just grant me all my assumptions. All right, let's move on to. It fails by way of autonomous epistemology. What is autonomous like? So they're going to ask me, how do I know what goes into autonomous? I mean, just basic reading comprehension failures at this point. I just put it right here. Any system or philosophy or belief that public historic divine revelation is not necessary to justify the claims about the existence of knowledge. But how do you categorize Neoplatonism? It's like, because it is a system that does not accept that public historic divine revelations are necessary condition for justifying knowledge claims and the existence of knowledge. Pretty straightforward, right? Autonomous epistemology. So what does that mean? Autonomous epistemology assumes it may be possible to have knowledge apart from God and divine revelation. It just has to be reasoned to or proven. Well, if you have to prove it, right? Either you're accepting that's impossible, logically impossible, that's your starting point, or you're saying it's possible, okay? Not hard. Does everybody follow me on that? There's only two ways to go. If you start, it's logically impossible to have knowledge in a world in which God doesn't exist, you believe in theonomous epistemology. If you say, oh, I don't know if that's the case, I guess it's possible, I guess I'd have to prove that. Well, proving already assumes what's in question, that I know certain things and have knowledge, there's a world of knowledge, on the possibility that God may not exist, okay? Any questions about that? You want me to repeat it? Super easy. It's not just being stupid. There's something more to. I'm patient with stupidity. It's like obstinate stupidity. It's like I met with somebody who unfortunately is backslidden out of orthodoxy. And I spoke to this person's spouse, who's Orthodox, and I said, they don't want it to be true. I don't know what arguments I'm supposed to give when somebody doesn't want, they've made up their mind. I feel like it's, willful ignorance. The problem's not me, that it's like, well, I'm just not being able to explain it in a simple enough way. So I said, I think it's pretty simple. I might be deceived about that. Probably not, because I'm constantly reviewing that with students. Effective ways to communicate. Like, I practice this all week. All right. Like I said, two options. Either you say there's no way there could be a world which knowledge and proofs are possible without God. Or you say, and if you're in that camp, you're into theonomous epistemology. If you say, I don't know if that's true, I believe it may be possible, and therefore I will have to prove that God exists, then you're into autonomous. Okay? Which one does Neoplatonism fall into? Autonomous. It doesn't start with reason, proofs, knowledge, or logically impossible in a non-theistic, non-revelatory world. Okay? So far, so good. This isn't hard, guys. So what is a world in which God does not exist? There is no intention behind the world. We believe in a God who creates the world and all the laws and the way that you can know things and the whole metaphysical structures by his will, by his thought wills. There's intention, therefore. What's the opposite category of intention? Accident. But there is no accidental knowledge. It's a contradiction. So accidentalism, that position, and there's only two positions, either intentionalist or accidental, is a defeater for knowledge. Since accident is defeated, God must exist if knowledge exists. That's a transcendental deduction. Therefore, God and divine revelation is the necessary condition for the possibility of knowledge. But what did any of these, whether it's Neoplatonism, Thomism, any of this, they're all autonomous. What do they assume? Do they start off saying it's literally logically impossible to have meaning, thoughts, knowledge, inferences, deductions, proofs in a world without God? No, they don't. So they assume accidentalism may be possible. In other words, the necessary condition, we just proved that, because accident is impossible, the contrary must be necessary. God and divine is a necessary condition. So what are the autonomous epistemology, all of those groups assume? It's not necessary that the necessary condition, right, is actually the case. It's only possible. So it's a contradiction. Every autonomous system results in it's both necessary and not necessary. Right? Hard? Also, suppose you get even past that, and you're not going to. You can't answer. You're going to fall victim to all my critiques that I've written in my papers, whether it's from the Agrippa's trilemma, the problem of criterion, the Lewis Carroll-inspired argument, the metaphysics versus epistemic, the first and second order dialectical tension argument. They'll all apply and refute your position. What do I get? How about your statement that lack of mean proportion implies lack of knowledge? Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Why can't an effect yield some sort of knowledge of a cause? Okay, make it super easy. Is an effect and cause a relation? Is knowledge a relation between knower and known? Yes or no? What do you say in the chat? Let's make it super easy for this girl. Are of causes and effects, causes, relations. Is it a type of relation? Is knowledge a type of relation? If you ask, what kind? It'd be like, are knower and known, is that a relation? The knower relates to what? What's known. And the known, it's a relation. So, for the last time, two unrelatable things, are they capable of being related? I'm going to write it out and do a deductive syllogism. Premise 1. Right. Two unrelatable things are incapable of being related. Definition: unrelatable or incommensurate. That's the definition. Premise 1. Premise 2. Knowledge and or cause and effects are relations. Therefore, let's make sure I have it in the predicate. Let me just see. Okay, just want to make sure I get this into its right valid form. Yeah. Knowledge of a thing. So if I say, you can't be asking what the meaning of, like, look up definition of relation. It has to do with connections. Two things that are connected. That's literally the definition of a relation. So, is somebody who knows something connected to the thing they know? Then they're related. Are effects connected to causes? Then they're related. It's a relation. Are subject and predicates and things in speech connected to each other in a sentence? Then they're a relation. You guys are overthinking this. It's nothing to do with essence. It literally just means, are two things connected in any way whatsoever? Then they're a relation. But if by definition things are unrelatable or incapable of being connected, can they be connected? I think that's maybe a problem too. I think it's not that hard. I think people are overthinking it. It's like, that's why okay, I'm gonna put this up. Major, minor premises. Okay, I'm gonna show it to you how easy logic and philosophy can be. Conclusion. Are you ready? I'm gonna put this in bold so you can see major, minor premise, and conclusion. Okay, ready? Okay, valid form here. Where am I? Major premise: things that are unrelatable, incommensurate, etc., are incapable of standing in any relation to other. Definition: it's an analytic truth. Definitely truth, right? Unrelatable things are unrelatable. That's why it's analytic or even tautological. Minor premise: knowledge and causation, cause and effect, right, are relations. Conclusion: therefore, knowledge and causation cannot obtain between or relate to unrelatable things. How easy is that? But why can't... How much are we going to bet? Why can't... Just because, okay? You can't move past that. That's just because that's the way things are. Yeah. So what are you talking about? If it's not connected, then you're not talking about anything. Not even aware, are you talking about something? Is this something you? No. Then are you connected to it? Yes, then it's a relation. It's really easy. I don't care where it is or what you're talking about. But I don't need to go into essences and comprehend. I mean, it's that simple. Is it another thing or is it you? Are cause and effect the same thing? No, then they're two things. Are they connected? Then it's a relation. If I'm not the tree and I'm talking about it or knowing it, am I connected in some way by talking about it? Yes, okay. Then all right, I'm getting tired of this. I'm going to pull this up. Let's see. And then pull this up, window capture. What does it say? Oh, my problem, huh? Okay. So this... Literally, I'm going to ban this word, comprehension. Okay, so we've already explained that. It has nothing to do with comprehension. Any sort of relation whatsoever, whether it's comprehension, cause, effect. Your problem is the failure of establishing that reference implies What is the matter with... Is the comprehension in the room with us right now? We understand that. Quit lecturing me about Neoplatonism. You're just too dumb to understand what we're saying. It can't refer... What is reference? A relation. Can unrelatable things refer, like, relate? No, like... Oh, it equally applies to me. I just proved it. Impossible to the contrary. It doesn't apply to me. I'm not in the same How can the problems of one category, of which you're the opposite of, meaning there aren't those same problems, have that problem? And you're just like, well, that problem for you. It's like, no, it's literally the opposite category. We're negating the problems. We identify what the problem's in, then we negate it. So either there just isn't any knowledge, it's just radical skepticism, or if there is, the problem doesn't apply because it's the opposite category, the negation of the problematic category. What inference did I draw here? The inference is literally called disjunctive syllogism. Silly. Could you define what... Yes, I did. I didn't say involving. I'm saying accepting that it might be possible. So this person's not reading. Yes, it does follow the Christian. And I had a dream about this last night. In the dream, there was a person just like this. This is crazy, actually, and I'm having this dream. They said transcendental arguments don't work because you can plug in anything you want. Okay, in my dream, I actually remember my dream really well from last night. Yeah, I'm wasting my time. I'm going to confession. I'm going to go to confession this and be like, Father, I've wasted my time on another retard again. So in my dream, and I'm going to end with this, and then we'll depart in peace. In the name of the Lord. Somebody said, transcendental arguments aren't, tag's not an argument. Because you can just put in anything you want. And in my dream, I made the distinction that I'm like, look, understanding the general abstract structure of a transcendental argument, if P, then Q, P, therefore Q. Hold on, I messed up. If Q. No, yeah, P, sorry. Therefore Q. Got it right. Alright, that's just to understand the kind of modal structure of a transcendental argument. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I don't know why. I was writing and I miswrote when I was speaking. If P, then Q, P, therefore Q. Okay. Does that mean you can seriously plug in anything for... So I always use cake. If we have cake, then we have eggs, flour, butter, etc. We have cake. I'm looking at cake. Then obviously, transcendentally deduced that clearly there's the necessary ingredients for that. So, we understand the general kind of structure of that. But then you got to look at the details. Yo, but what could make cake? Could I use sand? And no, like, okay. Then we start to see that the things that we'd plug in, the possibilities would fail. And if I can show, right, the limited possibilities, because there's only about 5 of them that claim to have public divine historic revelation, fail. By impossibility the contrary, then the Trinitarian Orthodox God is true. Number 2, it's not just a negative. There's an account, a narrative like that's logically coherent, consistent, satisfies all the... So there's a positive account, is what I'm trying to say. So this person just, I don't like it, so it doesn't prove... It's like, I'm explaining to you. All the other ones won't work. They fail in different ways. It doesn't apply to me. Because I just showed how it overcomes that. We don't have the same problems. So, it is the Trinity. It is orthodoxy. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm sorry you don't like... And then they don't even understand. Why does incommensurable autonomy... You don't even know what you're talking about. I never said that. So, I am done. You can watch this. And if you open your ears and eyes and your heart, maybe you can try to get it. Or you can continue to stubbornly just say nuh-uh. Um, do we have any other super chats before I leave? Super chat questions only. Super chat questions only. Come on in. Come on down to super chat question. All right, come on, super chat questions, please. I don't see any super chat questions. Super chat. No way, Father, you're in the. When did you send that? 10. Oh, wow. He's probably gone by now. Come on, guys. No? Stupid or super chats, either one works. Alright. Countdown.
Hey guys, listen, I got something to tell you here. Listen, I'm gonna share this with everybody, but after looking at the numbers this morning, I felt like I had an obligation. Listen, most people think cryptocurrency is about buying crypto. That's adorable. That's what they would want me to think.
Okay. Uh, we're in this text thread from class of 96, my high school. It's just funny. It's so weird being back, like, just hanging out again. It's like all over the country, but all in one place on. Anyways, that is all. Um, thank you for your support, everybody. Thank you for your prayers, for those that joined. And till next time, may the Lord God bless you and keep you. Let his grace shine upon you and preserve you. And may you have a blessed liturgy this weekend. Bye bye.